Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Sure enough.
You said it. Show enough. This is Tim, this New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Oh, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Actually, we have one topic today. I didn't jump on the camera because I got a lot of other stuff going on at the house. Like I said, I'm actually still doing a little bit of remodeling in my office, so it's going to be a little bit more spectacular when I get a chance to get it done, so we can do more on-camera stuff. But we're going to work our ways back towards that. Want to talk about Saquon Barkley. Want to talk about the contract. Want to talk about how I find it very interesting that there are now like two camps. The Saquon is greedy and we need Saquon camp. And it's very interesting. But before we get into that, a little housekeeping, we're going to be attending the New York Giants Town Hall this Wednesday at the Beacon Theater. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're not going to live stream, of course, but we're going to do some shorts from it. Who knows? Maybe we'll live stream outside Manhattan. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The venerable James Williams is going to be tagging along with me. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be Wednesdays. There's going to be a Q&A with Joe Shane and Brian Dable and Mr. Jones. So you got and plus you have the players from this year's 2023 draft class is going to be there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of good content. So make sure you look out for that on Wednesday. Saquon Barkley, the Giants last year during the bye week offered him a contract worth about $12 to $12.5 million. And Saquon rightfully turned it down. I think it was a smart move to turn it down. You have some people that are sitting there saying, well, his representation is just screwed him. No, because like the initial Lamar Jackson contract, like we've talked about before, you don't know what the guaranteed money was. You have no idea because no one's saying anything. To the point that with Lamar Jackson, he was getting so tired of people, giving him crap. He came out and said, hey, listen, this is what they were offering. And it wasn't even near market value. So maybe the guaranteed money wasn't there for Saquon, but you know what? Time has gone by. As time goes by, let's just remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply when time goes by. And no one's going to know what that is. That's from the movie Casablanca. But you don't know what he was offered. You don't know what he was not offered. Then you turn around, the season, the season goes on. It goes through. Make the playoffs. Win in Minnesota. Lose to the Eagles. And then the rest of the season goes on. And then you have leading up to what we needed to do with Daniel Jones's contract, or what they thought they needed to do with Daniel Jones's contract. And we've talked about this before, and many other sports writers have said this, and many other prognosticators and talking heads have said it. When you overpay Daniel Jones, and if you look at Daniel Jones's body of work, and if you're not mature enough to hear this conversation, please turn off the show, because I don't want you listening anyways. If you look at what he has done in his entire career, in his first 4 years, if you cannot say that you did not overpay for what his body of work is, then you're a fool, because you're paying him off of potential. He is going to potentially do this. He's going to potentially do that. You're paying him off potential. You're giving him technically $40 million a year for the next 4 years. Of course, if he goes out the term of his contract. But honestly, if you take a look at it, it's only really $32 million a year average over the first 2 years. Third year is not guaranteed. There is guaranteed money, but it's not guaranteed. But you overpaid. You set the market for an average quarterback. When you do that, and we've talked about this before, when you do this, the rest of the players on the team that are well above average look at this and says, hey, listen, whoa, back up the truck a second. You overpaid for Daniel Jones. I'm just as big as a cog on this offense, if not bigger at times than Daniel Jones is. I may be a running back, but I want to get paid. I would like to get paid. And I should get paid, because if you go off my body of work compared to the person that you overpaid, you should pay me at least the minimum, the top of the food bank in reference to being the running backs, which would be Christian McCaffrey. And I don't have a problem with that. I think it's interesting that the Giants are having this. The Giants are playing this game of chicken with Daniel Jones. With Saquon Barkley. They're playing a game of chicken with him. And it's a scary game of chicken, because if you cannot see the fact that Saquon Barkley is a vital cog on this team, It's what it is. It just is what it is. And then you go out and give a 4-year, $90 million extension to Leonard Williams. You free up $5.5 million in cap space. So you have available money because you'll probably get even more money. And then the Giants came out recently and increased the offer to $13 million. With incentives, he could make up to $14 million. And he rejected that deal as well. And I don't blame him. I don't blame them. If you take a look at what's going on here, if you take a look at the running back market, you take a look at the draft. People were condescending in reference to the running back market, but look what happened at the draft. Look where certain running backs went in the first round of this draft. People will point out though Saquon has missed 21 games through his first 5 years, but he still averaged 1,214 yards. You take away the 2020 season where he was injured and only played in 2 games, he's averaged almost 1,500 yards from scrimmage and over 4 seasons. Only 7 running backs, including Barkley, and 11 players had that many yards from the line of scrimmage last year. Barkley ranked 7th with 1,650 yards from the line of scrimmage. Second highest total in his career. He's 26. He turned 26 in February. So you figure he's got at least another 2-3 good years within him before there may be a serendipitous drop. But you take a look at that. Only 24 players in the NFL last year exceeded 1,250 yards. Only 24. So if you can't see that the Bark is a vital cog to this offense, yes, the quarterback is always supposed to be the most important position. We've talked about this ad nauseum. That's supposed to be the most important position. But here's the problem. The way the Giants are built and the way this team is constructed and the way it was constructed last year, the running back has just as big as a role as the quarterback. Because the Giants' offense is predicated on the run. You can tell me all they want that they went out and got Paris Campbell. You can tell me all they want they got Darius Slayton. You can tell me all they want they got Waller. You can tell me anything you want in reference to going Jalen Hyatt. And I love Jalen Hyatt. But there's still a lot of ifs in that receiving room. If Paris Campbell can repeat last year and stay healthy after not staying healthy for the first 4 years of his career. If Waller can stay healthy after he hasn't done that and stay content after the last 2 seasons of his career. If Darius Slayton can still put up at least 750 yards with at least 7 catches. If Wan'Dale Robinson can come back from an injury. If Sterling Shepard can come back from an injury. If Jalen Hyatt can step up and be that deep threat the Giants lack and that big play the Giants lack in the passing game. And then people, we got Isaiah Hodgins. Well, Isaiah Hodgins, if you take a look at him, actually take a look at his stats and what he did for the Giants. Not disparaging him. But I believe he barely even cracked over 9 yards a catch, a reception. Not much of a yak. He's going to be more of a possession guy. And you're going to need, and I laugh because if you think about this, if you do not have Saquon Barkley in the backfield, if you do not have that threat, that home run threat every time Barkley touches the ball, what's going to stop teams from putting 7-8 in the box and making Daniel Jones throw? What will stop them from doing that? There's really not a answer for that. And then I love the people that would be like, well, here's the thing. Saquon Barkley's going to be pushed this year because we went out and drafted a running back. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever read. That Saquon Barkley is going to be pushed by Eric Gray. Eric Gray, first of all, has to make the roster. That's the first thing he needs to do. He needs to make the roster. If anything, he's going to be, he potentially be a cog for the Giants to spell Saquon Barkley in reference to running the ball. But he's going to make the roster. You're looking at a guy who got dragged down from behind quite a bit. And scouts, it even said that he looks to run out of bounds instead of going for contact. It's foolish to assume that not paying Saquon Barkley is the way to go. If he is truly looking for Christian McCaffrey money, he says he's not. He said he's looking for, he's not trying to reset the market. Well, the market's $16 million. And you could think he's worth it. You could think he's not worth it. But if you're really giving him 14, what's another $2 million among friends? And this is what I love because fans, like I said, fans even on the radio. I'm sorry. We have Steve from the Bronx.
Well, we need to look at the money that we have. And we need to, be careful with the salary cap.
I love it when everyone's a capologist if they want to use it to prove their point. But if it's something that the Giants should do, certain people sit there and say, well, the cap doesn't mean anything. The cap doesn't matter. But all of a sudden, if it's giving money to players they don't like, then we got to save money on the cap. If you're truly going to close in at $14 million, why don't you just give him $14 guaranteed and give him another $2 million in incentives? Why not? You have an opportunity. You have a chance. The schedule for the Giants is tough. The schedule for the Giants is more than tough. But if you want to have more of a chance this season to progress and go forward and be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid, you give Saquon Barkley the money. You give him what he wants. But the problem is when you overpay Daniel Jones, when you give $90 million to Dexter Lawrence, and then you sit there and you pinch pennies with your Pro Bowl running back, that's crazy. And for people to think that his agent's letting him down and this, no, his agent's not letting him down. This is the contract that Saquon Barkley is going to make money. This is his second contract. This is where he needs to make his cash. This is where he needs to make his money to support his family. This is where he needs to acquire the Quan. He needs to earn money these next 2 to 3 years. So he's looking out for himself. He's betting on, and if he decides to play on the tag, he's betting on himself. And he's betting on the fact that the Giants won't tag him again next year because of the fact of the situation with the contracts they have coming up and the things that they need to do. Just give the guy his money. Do what you did with Daniel Jones. Pay him for 2, give him 4 years, 2 years guaranteed, 3rd year partially guaranteed, and see what happens. Because he'll be sitting in his 3rd year at 29. Make the 4th year avoidable. And then just leave it at that. If he's truly not setting the market, if he's truly not trying to beat Christian McCaffrey's money, give him the 14, give him the $1.5 million to $2 million in incentives, call it a day, save some salary cap money this year. You could probably take that cap number down to like $6 million, if not more. And then have the extra cap space. Do what you need to do. Build a continuity in this team because Saquon Barkley at the end of the day is the face of the franchise. Is the face of the franchise. And you could like that. You could not like that. Doesn't really matter. That's just what it is. If you talk to anyone in marketing or anything such as that, you see commercials with Saquon Barkley. You don't see them with Daniel Jones. Why? Because Saquon Barkley is the face of the franchise. Make sure you tune in for Wednesday. Like I said, we are going to be at the New York Giants Town Hall, Beacon Theater in New York. We'll send out some shorts. Hell, we may live stream a little bit from the event. But make sure you stay tuned for that because that's going to be fun and that's going to be exciting. And again, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. And you know what to do. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you know what it means. Well, that'd be awesome.